folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
All right, what's up and what's going on, everybody? Welcome aboard. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We are joined by SUBZERO. Welcome back.
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Doing great, man. Glad to have you back in here now. And we was talking. We'll probably go ahead and get right into to it from a certain angle, so to speak.
Okay.
It was a question that I had that I had in the back. I was gonna wait a little later to ask you, but as we wait for people to come in here, I think we're gonna go ahead and tackle this one right now.
Okay.
I've been hearing like a lot of rumors and rumblings, like when it comes to IT and everything, that I think it was some big layoffs and everything, or they let go of a lot of people, that the market is a little messed up. It's kind of hard to get a gig, when it comes to that whole thing. Like what's your take on that?
It hasn't been messed up. My students just one of my instructors, she just got a job at Microsoft as a data scientist. My other student got a job with American Express last week for $120,000. Okay. We've had students getting jobs left and right. I'm gonna tell you like this. What happened was earlier this year, major companies started having layoffs. The Facebooks, the companies like that were having, Google, places like that, they were letting people go. And so what's happened is that article, there have been articles written about it, people have been talking about it. So, but what you have to understand about tech, right? I can get a job working for for Waffle House. Waffle House, and I'm not talking about waiting on tables. I'm talking about I'll be a database developer, database administrator, or whatnot for this, for Waffle House or for Hooters, for example. I actually got a call for Hooters one time. So when you talk about tech, you're not just talking about Facebook, Instagram, and Amazon. I mean, Facebook and Amazon and Google. You're talking about just about every organization. Best Buy, Porsche is here. Home Depot. I've worked at Home Depot. I've been doing this for a while, and I'm gonna just let you know that this is not going anywhere anytime soon. You'll be able to get a job. I get a call every probably about at least 3 times a day. I'm getting a call from somebody. And if it was hard, I wouldn't get calls all the time. People wouldn't be I wouldn't get emails. I don't even read them. I just delete them because I get so many of them. When I'm looking for a job, I don't really have to put in for application anymore because I've got so much experience on my resume. I'll just look in my own email. That's the first place I'll start because they already emailing me trying to get me to. They already see my resume. They know what it looks like, so they're calling me and emailing me to see if I'm a good fit. I'll just reply to one of those individuals. The next thing you know, I got a phone interview, and that's how I get jobs. It's been years since I've actually went. Let me go apply for a job. I don't do that. I just go through my personal email. That's the easiest way. In any given week, I'm gonna have at least 5 or 6 different companies that would probably want to interview me on a real interview, sending me emails. And so that's the long and short of it. It's an ocean of opportunity in the tech space, in the tech world. That's why you keep hearing so many people talk about it. I've been talking about it for years. I've been doing Lifting the Veil for years. We've helped thousands of, not thousands. Well, we've taught thousands of people, but we've gotten over about $6 million, over $6 million in annual salaries. We've helped a lot of people get in this space. A lot of it just breaks down to what organization you're talking to, who, where you are, and everybody has different skill sets. So, for example,
yeah,
somebody would say, well, yeah, tech is dried up. Well, if you are I don't know, let's just throw out something. Like, let's say you do tech support. Yeah, tech support jobs might be dry, but there's a shortage of Ruby on Rails developers, or there may be a shortage of JavaScript developers, or there may be a shortage of, so it just, when you're talking about a skill set, there's always a certain demand. Now, if they're, over the next, the statistics, and you can look this up, there's a tech shortage actually. And so they're flying people in from India and Africa and all these different places to be able to come in and, take these jobs, basically supplant us in these positions. If we were to get the skill sets, we would probably be a prime candidate because you're American. And when you're American and you're, English is your first language, you understand the American culture, you would actually probably be a great candidate for for talking to these different companies. So,
yeah. Okay, all right, good. And I'm glad you cleared that up, because a lot of people been a lot of rumblings, but that's good. That's good. So like I got it in the title, in the thumbnail. I said the silent hack that only a few black men know about. Let's talk on that, where how this whole tech thing, this whole getting into IT, working remotely, your work traveling with you, that's a hack that it seems other men know about, black men know about less, or are taking advantage of less. Let's speak on it from that perspective.
Well, I'm gonna put it like this. I'll go live in my basement for 2 and 3 hours in the morning, and my laptop's there, and I'm sending emails, talking to people, not literally, but sending them emails. Once I talk to people about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'll go live. I just got off live at 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
I was up from like 10 to 1 almost. I did a 3-hour live. I do that all the time. If I want to go to the gym, I'll just put my laptop in the car, get in the car, go work out. As soon as I come out the gym, I'll crack my laptop open and start, checking my email. As long as Microsoft Teams is active or showing is active, no one really cares. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, you're gonna, and the thing, that's a good question, Jumpman. So let me explain. So, as it pertains to Indian recruiters, Indians have pretty much monopolized the tech world in America and pretty much all over the country, the continent. But, and usually, I'm gonna be honest with you, the people that most of the time when I get a job is from an American. But I've learned not to be discriminatory, because at the end of the day, the people that you think that won't get you a job, a lot of times it will be an Indian recruiter that calls you. I've gotten like the last 2 or 3 jobs from Indian recruiters. But sometimes they will call you and they'll, can you please confirm? Send me your last, your social, send me this, send me that. You confirm with them. Next thing you know, you don't hear anything from them. That's that, and that is probably about 70% of the time. But there are those that are a lot more professional that will tend to, respond back to you. And so I wouldn't look down on that. Just take it with a grain of salt. You never know which job is actually going to be, your job. You know what I'm saying? So don't be like, oh, well, I don't know if I need to take this one, because this is probably going to be a position that, he's Indian. He's probably, no. If he's calling you, apply for the job and you just go through the process. You don't know which one is actually going to pan out for you. Usually when I get a call from an American, though, you got a real good shot. Usually, I don't know what it is about when I talk to somebody and they're from America, especially somebody from right here in Atlanta. It just, I'm pretty much going to get a job interview. You're going to get a job interview with the hiring manager most of the time when it's American. If they submit you, because they're not trying to submit 30,000 resumes to the hiring manager. They're going to submit 5, 3. That's how it works. And I know this because I have friends that were recruiters, and I just know how it works.
Right. Now, when you said that the Indians basically monopolized, I don't know if you even use that exact word, but they basically have monopolized the tech industry. How and why, or just how, probably a bit more important question. Like, how was it that they got such a stronghold on it?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Let's look at us as African Americans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So African Americans, and I look at this. When we graduate high school, there's literally only about 13-14% of us that can even read at a proficient level.
Man.
About 55% of us can't even read at a basic level. That's just reading. When it comes to math, right? When you talk about African Americans in math, right? So what happens is, you spend 30 minutes a night on average. We all know Thomas Sowell. He talked about that. He said African Americans spend about 30 minutes a night studying and doing their homework. Well, when you do that over a course of time, that means you're not going to probably be sitting there doing 30, 40 math questions at night. If you have 5 steps in each math problem, you're probably not going to do that. So you're probably, when you go to college, going to steer away from STEM majors, which if you go, and everything I'm saying checks out. If you go look nationally at the degrees of African Americans, they're going to be more along the lines of psychology, sociology, social work, different things, childhood education. In fact, 70% of our PhDs are in childhood education. So we don't even get in those spaces, right? So if Indians tend to spend, on average, they're Asians, they're from the continent of Asia. Indians, Chinese people, Asians, all, they spend 2 hours a night. So what happens is they go to college, they get the scholarships, they go into MIT, they get into these different arenas, and what happens is they're the ones that are the first ones to get looked at, because we're not in those spaces. And the reason we're not, like I said, the reason we're not in those spaces, the majors we choose, the different arenas that we're in, we're not in, usually in that space. Now, when you do see African Americans coming from the tech industry, the tech major, then they're going to do okay. They're going to do well. In fact, what is it? Like 17% of tech STEM tech workers that are African American come from HBCUs. So we are, I study this because I went to HBCU. That's why I got Booker T. Washington. That's the motto of my channel. That's my avatar, and of course that's my company letterhead. Basically, is lifting the veil of ignorance, basically, which is Booker T. Washington. And Booker T. Washington is the reason I like him so much, is because he's the guy that pretty much has it all put in the right perspective. Like, if you come right here, the energy that we should have is this right here. He says, we will prosper in proportion as we learn to dignify and glorify labor and put brain and skill into the common occupations of life. The reason that I'm talking about this, when we talk about traveling, if you want to be the guy sitting like on I love the little avatar you put on the video. Yeah, the thumbnail, you put the guy on the beach with his laptop, like that's been me. Now, I wasn't out there with a suit on.
Right.
I have on a suit. Now I had on some shorts and a wife beater with a hat to block out the sun and some shades, right? But I was sitting on the beach coding. And we went down to, where did we go? We went down to Fort Lauderdale, man. We hung out. We went down there during the pandemic, like when it first started. We went down there because when Florida opened up, we stayed down there for about a week in Fort Lauderdale. My son was home. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a rental car, drive me and my family down to Fort. We flew, actually. No, I tell you, but we flew. We got a rental car when we got there. But we got down there, man. We did what we had to do, man. We stayed down there, had a good little time, And the reason I'm saying that is that's the lifestyle that a lot of brothers, like, for example, shout out to Marvin. He's been on your channel. He's been on here with me before. Marvin just got back from he just returned from Thailand for 10 days. And so, these are just the things that students, I have a few students, they done went to places I've never been to. I've never been to Thailand, had another student went to the Philippines. My students go all over, Brazil, they go everywhere. Once you get a job and the company is telling you that, hey, you can work remotely, Sometimes you have to get permission. Obviously, when you got their laptop, hey, I'm going to be in this country for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatnot. I got students that went to Colombia, of course, Dominican Republic, right? So a lot of different places they're able to travel to. And when you get in these foreign countries, I've been there. I played basketball overseas, and I'm just telling you, when you get over there and somebody's paying you, $10,000 a month, you living like kings over there. Way better than you would think you would live, or you would be living like somebody make you, very wealthy, extremely wealthy, because most of those people aren't making that kind of money in these countries. So $10,000 a month, that's $2,500 a week direct deposit. It's a comfortable lifestyle. And then what I tell my students to do is just get 2 jobs. I have older videos on my channel where I show check stubs, and I was just showing people this is how much money you can actually make with these different jobs without having to, travel and put yourself in a position where you're not going to be successful. Like I say, man. So right now, the reason we're here today, we're doing the database administration class. Now, let me explain what that is. Database administration is basically, you are the guy that stands up the database, makes sure that it's running properly. If the database is running properly, you will not be bothered at all. You're going to have tasks that you'll have to do, obviously. But when I say you won't be bothered, when the database goes down, that's when you got to kick in. But see, the thing is, the thing about being a database administrator, you can set that database up to send alerts and do certain things to where if and when it does go down and crash, specifically where and what happened already in seconds. You'll know. You'll get an email or a text. It'll tell you what it did. Oh, I experienced a problem right here, locking issue, whatever, right? Those types of issues are what DBAs manage and maintain. You just maintain the environment. Now, unlike a developer, I'm a developer, and that's my main skill set. I've been a DBA before, but I'm gonna tell you the honest to God truth, that was the most laid back job I ever had. I used to be sitting outside on the cell phone for 2-3 hours, nobody say nothing to me. And it was a government job for the state of Alabama and working for Auburn University. And I was just literally chilling, right, as a contractor, and it was just laid back. The guy that was the head database administrator had the system set up so smooth, we didn't have to worry about nothing. And so all I would do was just do migrations. Like if someone is working in a dev environment, they want to move their work over to UAT or QA, I would just do that migration. That's it. And that's just a couple of buttons. And that's it, man. And we would just be chilling. And so the reason I'm telling you this is because the database administrator position and role is what I initially wanted to be when I first got into IT. Because my brother, who's an Oracle financials consultant, and he's the one that told me about all this. My brother was telling me, look, you want to be the DBA, man. That's the cool job. And so I'm a developer. And what that is, and what I do as a developer is I'm the guy that adds functionality to different platforms. Like, for example, if you have Career Builder, I worked there one time, or whatever organization, when you go on their website and they want to add some bells and whistles to their reports, or they want to add some different information inside of their result sets that's coming through. So that's your job to go out, change those data sets around, do certain things. So you might mess with reports, you might mess with ETL through Azure Data Factory or Azure Synapse Analytics. You might do the T-SQL development as far as working with the stored procedures and different things like that. So that's what we do as developers. The reason the developers a cool job, that's what just about everybody you've seen, most of my people have gotten jobs as developers, but I'm going to tell you like this. The main thing you want to pay attention to as a developer is that you have to do sprints, right? Like say, for example, you work within an organization and every 2 to 3 weeks you do something called a release. When you do the release will allow you to basically upload all of your changes to the production environment. The production environment, not trying to get techie on you, but the production environment is the money maker. That's the client facing money making environment. So for example, if you go to careerbuilder.com, that is their production. It's called careerbuilder.com. That's their production environment. And so when you're working with that, you have to be mindful that that's where the money is. So if I crash careerbuilder.com, that's a big deal. So obviously they do releases, and every time you go to a company website, you'll see something saying, "Oh well, we'll be doing a release on Saturday at 12 midnight." Right, going into Sunday, we're going to be down for maintenance. And the reason they'll do that, Saturday 12 midnight, we'll all be dialing in every 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whenever, and we'll upload our new release information, whatever changes we made. That's what developers do. The reason you want to be a DBA over a developer is because it's more stress to be able to push something out every 2 weeks on a certain deadline. You have certain amounts of tickets. If you just do 3 tickets, some people might be cool with that. Some people might want you to do 8 tickets. Well, can you do 8? Can you do them within the 2-3 weeks allotted time? It depends on a lot of different factors. It might be stuff that has nothing to do with you, or you may do it, but you know what, we changed that. We want to change this a little bit, and people trying to make changes. Oh, well, you need to open up another ticket. So a lot of times you'll spend time working on something, and you're like, I'm gonna set this aside. We're waiting on some results for that. So you might only have 5 tickets, or 3, or 6, or whatever, and it doesn't meet up there what they want, which is their normal 8 to 10, and so they may be upset with you, or they may, and you're not getting enough work done. We need you to do more. You don't need that type of stress. You just want to be the guy to make sure that the database working. They're not gonna mess with you. And I'll never forget, I was on project, man. This guy was a database guy. He would come in there. He would never say anything in the meetings. He would be in the meeting scrolling on his phone. But of course, when I talk to him, he's like, well, yeah, I'm checking the system. And I'm sitting right next to him like, he ain't checking no system. He checking his Facebook. He chilling. I'm like, and I laugh, I joke with him, but he's like, man, hey, I got the system set up. When it crashed, though, I'm the one that they come to. Yeah, but it might crash this back up in like 30 minutes. He do some restores because he had it doing backups anyway. So every time it crashed, he would bring it back to within 60 seconds of where it was right before it crashed. So that type of guy that can do that type of stuff, that guy's paid about $98,000 on average. That's how much they pay for that.
So when do the next class start? When do you got the next thing open up?
First off, Roll Tide, lost in translation. That is Roll Tide. That's right. Anyway, class starts. Class begins the 28th of this month. Yes, and we have a gentleman that has 32 years of tech experience. It's a brother right here from Atlanta. What I try to do is I try to get people that are, first of all, American, native, born American, African American, and those are the people I try to go for. So this guy, he has the heart of a teacher. I've spent time on the phone with him. We've discussed what we're going to be doing, and this is going to be database administration. This is basically us ushering in, the first inaugural class for database administration. That is very closely related to what I already teach, which is data analytics. So when I do data analytics, that course is centered on basically you just learning how to become a developer. This will be a database administrator course. So by the time you're done with this, you'll probably be in the thick of the hiring season next year, which is where you want to be.
So you're saying it take roughly, sounds like you're saying about 5 months or so. If they start on the 28th, hiring season next.
Yeah, about 5 months. It's going to be a 5-month course. So
okay.
Yeah, you want to be around that 4.5-5 month window. That's where you'll be. And that'll put you right smack dab, because usually everybody say January. That's not, no. It's going to be slow the first couple of weeks because they having their meetings. They're deciding how much money they're going to spend. Then they're going to reach out to the recruiters. They're going to start reaching out mid-February on down to like May is when, your phone is going to ring around that time. You can put your resume out once you feel like, once you have a solid grasp of the course material. I advise you to stay to the end. But once you get to like April, you should be competent enough to be able to go on these interviews and talk to people and know what you're talking about. I've been doing this for years. This is 6 years. I try to help people. And above all, I make this affordable, right? So if you go up to the top right here and you click on it, we're very affordable. You can't beat $297 a month. That's what I charge. And if you are coming here and you're watching this video and you type Friday as a promo code, it's only $147 the first, or it's going to be half price, whatever that is. So it'll knock off 50% off the first month. So all you're doing is $140 some odd dollars the first month just to find out if it's something you want to do. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. I always do that. I always say that when I come here. I always have so we're running a Black Friday thing this month where we're basically saying, hey, if you want to get into the tech space, you want to learn, then you need to be trying to do something along these lines. Now, like I said, this is freedom. To me, it's been freedom. I was able to pay off my tickets. I was able to put myself in a good space where I could be successful in other areas, in other arenas, in business, in real estate, different things I wanted to do. That's what this skill set has afforded me, the ability to be free, to be able to travel, to take trips, to afford to do things. I don't feel my wife comes to me, hey babe, I need $400. Here you go. Just give it to her. It's not a big deal. $400 used to be a lot of money at one time. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like, oh man, I got to think about that. Man, I'm gonna have to move some things around. Let me think about it. You don't want to be that guy. You want to be in a position, because as we talk about men and us, being successful as Black men in building a patriarchal society, then what we want to do is you want to be in a position to be able to write checks. You want to be in a position to, basically control your own destiny. In order to do that, you need a skill. You need Dan Locke, I don't know if some of y'all are familiar with him. Dan Locke talks about it being a $10,000 a month skill. You need that. If you can't make $10,000 a month, you need to get a skill that can do that for you.
Shout out to see I am WAF. He's saying down there saying you can't super chat for some odd reason. All right, hey, I mean hit the Cash App if you want to support the stream. You get the Cash App if you want to support the stream. They'll put the Cash App down there in the chat room for you. I don't know, sometimes super chat be tripping, but appreciate the thought to count. But
I am WAF had a question. Had a question about.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Right there. Yeah, this it. Actually, it will, because when you get down to the where is it? You get down here, you start talking about AWS, RDS, and Dynamo database administration. So yeah, we're definitely going to be going through all those different platforms. So everything you do that you may be learning, like if you're learning from Brother Theo, shout out to him. This would probably be something that will work in conjunction with that. And it's just another skill set. Like, for example, I'm a developer. I need to get a DBA skill set. This is something that I need to do. You know what I'm saying? So if you're trying to, you have one skill set and you want to migrate into another, this would be the best way to do it, because this allows you the ability. And in the upper right-hand corner, guys, that's my phone number. That phone's sitting right here. So if you want to talk to me, you can. And of course, they put the name in the chat.
Scrolling at the bottom right there, and it should be in the chat room. So yeah, SUBZERO is very, very reachable. You can call right when we get off the air. If you call that number, he'll answer it. So so yeah, definitely do that. Do that. Yeah. Would somebody expect? Okay, they're interested. They want to sign up. They get started. What they looking at, like in the first week? Like how?
Okay, so the first
the sessions and all of that.
Okay, so first off, let me show you. So first of all, I'm logged in, right? First week is just introduction, but let me show you. So when you sign up, you'll log in, which I'm logged in on the website. You click access classes after you're logged in, because if you're not logged in, it won't take you there. You click this, it'll take you to a list, and here it is, database administration. So you click this right here, and this is your member portal. This is where you'll access the classes. If you click right here, this will open up a WebEx application. You have to download it on your laptop the very first time, or if you're on a cell phone, you have to click it. Upon doing that, every recorded class will be placed in a list right here, a playlist that you will watch. And also we have a Facebook group that you click on and go to. We have other things like, SQL quizzes, a self-study course, Oracle class, different things like that. But these are the main three that I want you guys to really be focused on. This is where you're going to get most of your course and learning material from. In the Facebook group, the instructor is going to drop different information there. Like he might drop a PDF to a book, or he might drop a link to a different website, or any type of files. He might give you some scripts that you need to run that you can then upload. He may put them up on so a lot of times we'll use Dropbox. And if you go in the Dropbox, like for example, let me show you. So I'm gonna go in my data analytics class. So right here, I'm not in it. Anyway, I don't have it open. And it opened up another page anyway. So, oh well. But anyway, data analytics class allows you to go in and be able to access, not class, but the Facebook group. That's where a lot of things are stored. So while we're having class, I'll be like, hey guys, if you want to come back to this, I'm gonna place it right here in the Facebook group for you. If you guys have a chat, you can put it in the Facebook group chat. From time to time, let's say I want to reach out to you guys that I hadn't talked to you in months. After the class is over, we do the class about 4 or 5 months. So shout out to Lord Commander. We do the class about 4 months, and after that it's over. You're like, okay, that Facebook group is your way of corresponding with your other fellow students. I always tell my students to work together, get to know each other's phone numbers, get to know each other, spend time with each other. Somebody's calling, I call them back. But get to know each other, spend time with each other, not in person if you can, but just get to know each other, because what I noticed is the mastermind group energy really works well with stuff like this. So when you guys come in here, don't work on your own. Work together. Come to the study groups. Get each other's phone numbers. Hold each other accountable. And that's usually how it works, man. People that do that tend to be more successful.
Mm-hmm.
The first week you did this, I didn't answer your question. Real quick, the first week, basically, we're going to come in. We're going to show you how we're going to do things. He's going to probably be having you set up your SQL server on your local instance inside of your desktop the first time. And then he's going to show you how to manage this. Mostly, the first 7 weeks is really going to be spent towards performance tuning. But there will be an introduction on the 28th. And of course, you'll unmute your microphone and turn your camera on if you feel like it. Hey, my name is Joe Bob. I'm from whatever city.
Hey, you kind of borging a little bit. I don't know if it's something you could do to fix that.
I'll change it.
Okay, yeah, something just started happening. You started borging a little bit, but all right, yeah, hit the like button and all of that. One thing that I do want to throw out there, well, I want you to finish saying what you were saying, but Lord Commander says tech is an easy bag, gentlemen. I make $400K. We always be talking about how just the first step in the equation seems, somebody doing the career change, they get into tech, and then they start moving into a realm where they're getting close to or closing in on 100,000 or hitting 100,000. But one thing I do want to know, how do we get all the way to there? That 400,000. That's like the next step, next level.
Well,
I'm tap the 6.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Into it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The easiest way, because there's 2 ways you can do that. Mm-hmm. You can get one job that pays $400,000. That is the harder way to me. I think I made like 3 one time, but I worked 3 jobs for a while and then I stopped. But you're working the same 8 hours a day. It really doesn't. It's not like you're working 24 hours a day when you're working that amount of jobs. So Lord Commander is working 3 positions. I mean, he mentioned that on when I was over on Erica's channel, and each one is probably paying him north of $100,000. So that's what's putting him over that $400,000 mark. If you want to make that kind of money, right, you got to go to medical school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a lot of times people take for granted what they have in front of them, and they don't realize when he just up here trying to get people to sign up. First off, I made it cheap for you. If I'm trying to get over, everybody's telling me to raise my prices because I got so many results. I've gotten results. I can raise my price and go market to the masses and probably sell it for more than what I'm selling it for. But my main concern, and this is where I kind of always, I think a lot of people don't realize this. Me and Friedman was just talking about this today. Nobody wants to help black men, and particularly young black men. but black men in general, right? No one wants to come along and fall on their sword and do the work and the due diligence that it takes to have us prepared for the 21st century. Most of the time when you see somebody talking about, and particularly black men, it's always it's in the black community, it's always for black women. There's different organizations. Go look at the scholarship list right now. It's all black women scholarships. You see black, you think the scholarship for you, and then it's women only, right? And so nobody's really coming back to the community saying, hey, let's help the brothers. And so what I'm doing right now, I started this academy years ago, and I did it for $400. I did it for about 3.5 years at $400 flat, period. That was it. Just give me $400. In fact, $200 down, $100 down. I was taking people, and I was teaching them 5 days a week, 10 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And I was doing that, right? And what happened is people got jobs. But guess what? That's what we need. We need that extra nourishing environment where we can help each other. And so you can't get help if I'm all about everybody's out here trying to do a money grab. I'm just going to make as much as I can. I'm just going to, charge people 5,000 and 10,000. They don't think it's worth anything because you don't charge them as much. That's what people tell me. Oh, well, they probably don't, man. You get more people. If you charge more money, they'll think it's worth something. I'm not trying to play those mind games with you. If you don't want to do it, fine. But hey, it's $150. Sign up. It's only $150 for the first month. If you don't like it, quit. You didn't go take out a personal loan for $4,000 and $5,000 that you're gonna be paying on for 3 years to try to take some course with some company, hoping that you'll get a job, hoping that it was, otherwise you're gonna be paying on this for the X amount of years moving forward. Why would you waste your time doing that? I wouldn't do that. I would just take my time, get a job that I know I can handle, get a skill set I know I can handle, and keep it moving.
Mm-hmm. All right. What was I'd ask you a question before we started talking about Lord Commander, talking about all that money that he was making. No, but no, I know I'd ask you the question. I'm trying to remember what I'd ask. I know I'd ask you about the what do they expect coming in? What could they expect coming in and everything? And I think you answered that one. I'm at a loss trying to remember what I had. I had a good one. I had a good one for you. But what additional do you want to add to this? As far as everything is starting on the 28th.
Class is 3 times a week. Class is on.
That's what I was trying to find out.
Yeah, my bad. I'm all over the place. So class is 3 times a week. 28th is a Tuesday. So you're going to be Tuesday the 28th is going to be 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And then Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And then on Saturday mornings at 12:45 p.m. Eastern. Every class is 2 hours. We record everything. So like I said, if, for example, I come here, I come inside the portal, and I click this just probably not going to load up for you. But I'll just show it to you. Then I'll go back. So this is what you'll see when you click on the actual list right here. So this is the actual list of all. See here, these are the classes. We show up and we give you 2-hour classes. So what you're getting is my time, and I'm a developer, and I make way over $100,000, a year. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying you get my time. You get my phone number. You get my time. And I always tell my students, I tell every class is I put my heart and soul in what I do. If I don't feel like my instructors are doing that, then guess what? They got to go. Right. And so, and that, it's no knock against anybody. I'm just saying. And so ultimately what I'm trying to do is make sure that you guys get the best service. I believe in customer service. I believe somebody's going to get on care. Yes, I'm cheap, but done it. If you give me your money, you deserve respect. You deserve to be answered when you call. I'm going to text you or I'm going to say, hey, hit me back, whatever. I don't ignore my students. So I put you guys first. The only thing going to come before you is my family, obviously, and God. But other than that, you're going to be right there, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's God, family, lifting the veil. The students, man, I make sure my students are, I respect all my students. I make sure if you guys, I've even had students, hey, man, I'm having some financial issues. I'm gonna need about 2 weeks. All right, man. Well, look, I'm gonna give you a 2-week membership till you can renew. Because I do stuff like that. And not to say that, please don't call me and just beg, but I don't consider it begging. But just at least sign up, man. If you're gonna sign up, you've been here a couple of months, then yeah, I work with somebody. I do stuff like that. When I first started lifting the veil, I had people come in and give me $50 the first week. Like, that's almost laughable, but I would take it. Right, man. Come on, man. You in. And I would just let people in. It's never been, I've always been I ain't gonna say selfless, but that's always been me. And I would always get into it with people because people, man, you need to raise your prices. You losing money. It's not about making the most money. Cause I feel like Sam Walton told him the same thing. Man, you making stuff so cheap, man. You ain't gonna make nothing. No, man, you service people. Then he created Walmart. So yeah, do I want this to grow? Yes. But I have a long-term approach. I'm prepared to put the work in for 20, 30 years if I have to. Right. So I'm not looking at it like, okay, well, this month we down, someone give up. No, I'm gonna just come here every month. I'm gonna be consistent. You guys are gonna see me. One day you're gonna be like, you know what, man, I'm not making that 150, 200,000 that I think I should be making. And if you're watching this and you're not making 150 to $200,000, book a free consultation. Come on the website, click this right here, say book consultation. Schedule you a free consultation. We'll talk. I don't charge anything. I'm going to call you. That's my number. That's going to call you right there in the upper right-hand corner. 678-627-2796. If you want, let's just talk. It don't cost you nothing to talk to me for about 5 minutes. Schedule a consultation on my calendar, and I'll give you a call. And we'll just go from there. And I can answer any questions you may have, anything like that. But we do 3 days a week, 2 hours each time. We record it, and we give you 5 months. And after that, we help you. We're going to keep helping you. Once you get done, it's not over. It's like, okay, well, you're not subscribed no more, so I'm not going to help you. No, I'm going to help you. Like, good example. I had a Salesforce class with a brother that I didn't think was up to par. So what I did was I came back to that group, and I paid those students. I paid an instructor to come back, a developer, actually. He came back and he's taught that class. I didn't charge those students a dime. I paid for it out of my pocket, right hand to God. I'm still paying for it, actually, because it still ain't, that class is not over yet. They near the end, but I paid for a whole free Salesforce class. Anybody that came through Lifting the Veil that was in the Salesforce Facebook group got the class for free. All you have to do is just show up to class. You ain't got to pay nothing. Why? Because my name and my reputation, I take very seriously. And Bernard knew that. Bernard knew I had a situation some months back. I was really upset, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to just pray about it and just, move forward. And that's what I was able to do. So, and I wish the brothers well, whoever, but at the end of the day, I do think that, God's been blessing Lifting the Veil. We keep seeing good news. I invited a couple of my students to the Afrotech conference last month. Had about 5 of them show up. And a lot of them got a lot of great connections. And one of my students got hired already. So, I mean, the conference was just last week, a couple of weeks ago. And he's already gotten a job offer from American Express.
With Lord Commander Sands right here, and we kind of talked about this and everything. He says expect to make around 60, 70K once you, around 60, 70K when you start off, but once you get a couple years experience, the sky's the limit. That's a fair assessment, would you say?
Well, it depends on your skill set and what you do. My students don't start at 60, 70. Some of them have started around 70, but my students start at 90, 85, 90. That's the norm. And then this is the way I do it. If you get a job and you've worked at a company for 6, 7 months, once you got your bearings about you, it's like double dutch. Once you got the rhythm, somebody else call you. I tell them, hey, what's your rate? $50. And so I've been working at this company and said corporation for 6 months, and I'm making, let's say 90,000, 85, whatever, right? Then when the next company calls me, they ask me what my rate is. I'm gonna tell them $50 an hour, which is 100,000. After you get, and eventually somebody's gonna bite. You're gonna get a job for 100. So my students get north of 100,000 usually on their second job, which is anywhere from 6 to 9 months after their first job. Some students like Bernard, Bernie, one of my students, he got 120,000 with American Express first job. I got
How much
students.
experience did he have prior to that?
He had a little. He had his resume had like a little data experience, but really what got him there, what he said, was his understanding of SQL that he already learned at LTV. So that's what got him. But he had been working with sort of like reporting with like Power BI and stuff. But that's part of the course. He's still in there taking it with me. But even still, so he's already is a student that. So I wouldn't say he had no experience, but he didn't have a lot.
Okay, yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Let's see.
So I would say about basically short answer 6 months, 6 to 9 months. Second job, when a recruiter calls you and they ask you how much you want, you tell them. It's not like you're hurting for a job. You already got a job. So if they call you, hey, what are you charge? Yeah, give me $50. I did that, and I jumped north of 100,000 fairly quickly.
I heard some people debating this when they ask you, what's your expected salary. Some people they were debating saying, don't shoot it too ridiculously too high. That'll mess it up, but don't go too low. What's your thoughts on that? They ask you for what you want. You say just go on and hike it up there. They asked. What's your thoughts on that? Oh shoot, I think we lost him. We lost him. Here we go. Okay, he coming back.
I'm here, man. My bad, bro. I pulled it up by mistake. I'm gonna tell you like this. It's on you. I mean, right now, to be honest with you, rates have gone up. Like, I don't really, when people call me and say something like, if somebody called me talking about like 85, 90, I'm not excited about that. I mean, but I got like 15 years. So somebody called me and say, hey, I want to learn. I mean, I want you to come work with us. And, we're looking at about 85. I'm going to probably counter back with 100. I mean, they looking at my resume. They see that I have experience on my resume. They see I got 15 years. You know damn well you ain't finna get no 15-year developer for no done $85,000. Right. Now that's me though. If I counter back at 100, that's usually because I got another organization or company that I'm working for. Or sometimes, you know what, if I'm working one job, I'm making 110 on this one, 120, I just get another one. Somebody call, hey man, we'll give you 90. All right. I won't argue because you ain't doing it but just giving me extra money. I'm not really hurting. I'm not trying to survive off $90,000. Not that you survive off now. I'm just saying that's not what I'm trying to do. So from there, I'll take that too. So it's a myriad of things, but my students that aren't like me, because it took me years, right? I first got in, my first job was a contract at $35 an hour, right? I worked that contract about 3 months. Then I went work for General Dynamics. I jumped up to like, what was it? 42. It was $42. So I was making $42, but I was at home in Montgomery, Alabama. That's where I'm from. And, I was saving my money and doing real well there. Worked there about a year. And then I started going to Atlanta, doing different projects, different stuff like that. But my first couple of projects were, not that much, but I still was making about 70 to 80. And then I jumped up to, I think I hovered for a while because I got 1 or 2 jobs, stayed there for about a year at like $45, $48, $40, right under that $50 mark. And then I messed around, and about the 4th year, I jumped up over 100. And I just ain't look back from there. I was just like, man, I got to at least make 120. That's what I was trying to push for, about 10 a month. So it's been years. I've been making over 10,000 a month of just off one job. But then, some years ago, I said, man, let me start doubling up because I'm at home. I'm working remote. And that's when it really took off. Then I was making, so you could pull $250,000 and you're sitting at home. You really can, working 2 jobs. In 2 jobs, and you can, Lord Commander can type in the comments. That's very doable. 2 jobs it's not that hard.
Right.
It really.
Right. What's your thoughts on, because Julian Brown got a question. He says, what do you think about
cybersecurity? Cybersecurity, as long as you know what you're doing, you can make a substantial amount of money. If you don't, you go in there and you'll be making $15, $20. Like you go to your nearest junior college and sign up for a little course in cybersecurity, you probably make about $15, $20 an hour. Because I do consultations. I've been doing this for years. When I talk to people, that's what they tell me, right? Then I have people that I've talked to in cybersecurity, and they making $200,000. They making a killing. So I think it's a skill set that you just got to know which certifications, which skills to get, and that's what's going to put you on top. Not, you can't just go to just the local community college and get into cybersecurity and just jump out there and make. No, you can get a government contract with some of those like CompTIA certification, Security Plus, Network Plus. You can jump out there and start, you can get that first little contract. But if you really want to get into like some real money, you want to get different types of cybersecurity certification.
Yeah, what makes the difference in those ratios? I mean, that seems kind of extreme, going from 15 to 20 to that's broad of a gap.
It's the different. It is. It's the different skill. I do consultations with people that have certain certifications, and it's like, man, these people offer me $20 an hour. But usually, now I'm gonna say this about CompTIA. Once you have certification, you got experience. Usually, from my past experience, once you get north of like 5-6 years experience, you can pull a good salary. You can. Mm-hmm. You can pull 90. You can pull it. But first job, no. It's very rare that I've seen somebody get that much on a first job with those certs the first time. But like, for example, shout out to G Dizzle. G Dizzle he does real well. We don't say what he makes, but he does real well for himself, and he had those certifications. But G Dizzle got like a while in the game too. So I'm not coming to tear down anybody's technology or their skill set. I think, look, man, you can take an A+ certification. Somebody with an A+ certification out there making $100,000 with it. I don't know who they are, but there might be somebody. You could take any tech skill set and make a substantial amount of money, most of them. But there's a wide range. Like, for example, if I had to say the lowest position price I've ever seen for somebody on a job offer, the lowest I've ever seen for just knowing SQL by itself is about $25. That's the lowest I've ever seen. And that's with me looking at jobs for 15 years. I may have seen one job for $25. But then, so you could go that low. I could say, okay, well, yeah, I've seen that. But usually when somebody knows SQL and knows X, Y, Z, this, you're looking at about 80, 85. That's entry level most of the time when you first coming out of college. $80 to $85,000. When you've been working a while, yeah, give me a call, Julian. Give me a holler, man.
Yeah,
give me a call.
Yeah, shout out to Julian.
Let's talk on the phone. But once you've been working a while and you've been in this space for a while, man, you can make a substantial amount of money. And I never want to tear anybody's skill set down. I used to think C++ wasn't a good skill set to have because I was talking about my old college, Tuskegee. They still teaching C++. And I got an awakening of respect for C++ now because I see how much money people are making with that skill. And so I stopped saying what pays and what doesn't. I'm not that guy to say what doesn't. Even CompTIA. I mean, there are probably people, like I said, that's making good money, like G Dizzle. But as far as like your first job, these are the skills. There's a reason you see these skills on my website. What you see on my website right here, there's a reason I put it there. Those are skills that you can get that nice little chunk of money within your first year. You can. It's how you play it. Yeah, your first job, if you just coming out there cold turkey, no experience, and you say, hey, man, I went to Lifting the Veil. Yeah, somebody probably give you $35, $40. Right? But if you've been working for a while, no, you can get $50. That's not that hard. It's really not. I've been doing this for years. $50 to $55 is like that's pretty much the board. That's kind of what's expected. If you get to the 3-year mark, you can expect that kind of money.
All right. Well, shout out to Julian and shout out to I Am WAF. Says, if we're too busy now, could we join the next class after the one starting now? How often do you have new classes, or is it always open enrollment?
I can't because we have a set schedule. We do new classes every month just for people like you. So next month we'll be doing a class. Then in January we're going to be doing data science. So that's going to start near the end of the month in January. And that's the class you're going to probably want to deal with. That's about it, really. I don't really see, like I said, the class is pretty much recorded, everything. So some people come in, like say the class on the 28th, somebody might come, hey man, I'm gonna come in there on the 10th of December. Can I catch up? Yeah, you can catch up. You can catch up the first, because the class is 5 months. If you miss the first 2 weeks, it ain't gonna hurt nothing.
Okay.
It's when you miss that first month, that's when you're getting a little bit, now it depends on how much of a studying, how much do you study, how much are you putting in. But if you put in the time, and I always tell everybody, this requires at least 2 hours a day of studying. If you're not going to put the 2 hours a day of self-study in, you're playing with yourself. You're not really serious about trying to put yourself in a place to really win.
All right. Well, like what I'm hearing, I am wife and Julian Brown sound like you got two potentials right there. I like that. Shout out to who else we had in here? I know I saw something. All right, Lord Commander in the building says the biggest thing I will say is pick something and become an expert at it. Jumping from Python to JavaScript to C. I don't even know what that is.
C Sharp.
Okay, C Sharp is going to be counterproductive. Pick a language and pick a database. Thank you.
Listen, I'm so glad he said that. And that's where a lot of people fail at, is they try to, when people are first getting into IT, get a skill, master it, get a job. When you get a job, get your experience, work. If you want to migrate into another arena, it's easier because now you can afford to go to Oracle University and pay $5,000 for a class, or go fly out to San Francisco and go to Dreamforce and try to learn Salesforce or MuleSoft, as you will, right? Those certain skill sets that really pay a substantial amount of money, it just takes time and money, and a lot of people don't have the money to invest. So you have to, first of all, it costs I'm affordable. I'm that first person that usually a lot of people sign up with. Once you get this skill set and you're able to get out there and get an interview, if you can't get a job and you got an interview, you out there, you get interviews and you're nervous, and you're going to be nervous regardless. And so we record our interviews. We do a lot of extra things for our students. We record the interviews. We play them back. We tell you where you're messing up, where you're not messing up, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. You probably shouldn't have said this. So I do extra stuff. So by the time you go through all that, then you come back and I say, okay, you did good, and let's take it from there. And that's what we do. I'm not the guy that's going to tell you to, hey man, you guaranteed you're going to get a job as soon as you get. No, it might take you 5-6 months to get a job. It might take that long. Number one, you might be nervous when you get these, because it's a lot. That's why you scroll to my frequently asked questions, is one of them is, do you guarantee a job? I say, no, I can't guarantee a job. There are a lot of different factors that go into a person getting a job. The company, who is the hiring manager? What type of personality do they have? Are you when you get in these interviews, do you sound like a Hebrew slave or somebody scared to speak? Right? Or are you, because these are things that really dictate how well you, and so I can't control that. None of those are things that I can control. What I can control is, after you record it and you come to me, I can control what I tell you as far as what you did right, what you did wrong. I can tell you from my own honest, educated guess of 15 years experience, if I think they'll probably want to move forward, which I don't know, we'll see. But I think you did pretty good. Or I can tell you, man, keep looking, bro. I don't think you did too good on this one. Never stop looking anyway. I'm going to tell you to keep looking regardless. But at the end of the day, certain ones I can tell you, I've had students call me and they say, man, I killed it. I'm like, oh, really? Let's listen to it. And it's a nightmare. I'm like, oh my God. He doesn't even know he sounds bad. And that's what I'm saying. a lot of us, and particularly African-American men, nobody's going to come and tell us what specifically we're doing wrong. You out there falling on your face. What's up, Theo? You out
Theo in the building. What's going on, Theo?
If you're out there falling on your face, you need somebody to come back. Hey, man, that wasn't a good look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's something
look.
that for people who haven't heard you speak on here before, that's something you've talked about before, that you basically coach people on how to interview. I mean, on basically how to do in the interview, the type of questions that they're gonna throw at them, and then more specifically, you have them record the interview. They come back, y'all listen to it, y'all go over it, and you basically get them as prepared as they possibly can be. That's more or less what you're describing.
That's what the objective is, to get you to the point where you're not afraid. If you're relaxed, the whole thing is about you relaxing. They're gonna ask you the questions I told you they're gonna ask you, because I done this before. I know what I'm talking about. I've interviewed a bunch of times. I know what these companies gonna say before they say it. When they ask the question, you can done there answer the question in your mind before they get it out. Oh, I already know the answer. I'm gonna just let them finish asking. As soon as they finish, you just blurt the answer right out. That's how I've been doing this that long. And I'm telling you that I know the set of algorithm of questions that a lot of people ask, so we can give those questions. This is what they're gonna ask you. And as soon as you relax and not be afraid, and you're not gonna get every question, even I don't. But if you get most, I'm talking about 80%, you're in the running, man. You're in the running. Unless that 20% is something very rudimentary, then you're probably not. That's different. But if you get 80% of the questions, and the questions they trip you on are somewhat a little bit more advanced questions, and you're not able to really speak exactly, say, I'm not sure, but I think it's da 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 da, which is how I would tell you to answer that question. Don't just say, oh yeah, it's this, like you know it definitively. Just say, I'm not sure. Because communication is everything, right? These are things that I give you. Like, communication is everything. When you're in an interview and somebody asks you a question, tell me about this. If you don't know, say, I'm not sure, but I think it is, and then say whatever you feel like you want to say. That puts the interviewer at a different mindset, instead of them thinking that you definitively thought the answer was, and then you're incorrect, right? So just little bitty small nuances and tweaks like that, when I listen to your interview, tells a student what they need to do. And once you get that skill, you don't need me no more. And I love that. I love it when I see students just getting job after job after job. Yeah, man, I got this job offer over here, but I'm going to turn it down, man. I got this other company. They making an offer. They tell me I'm waiting on them to send a letter. I love that phone call, because now, I'm like, okay, he or she has it. They figured it out, and they don't need me anymore. And from there, you go on. All I ask for is a little 30-second testimonial. That's it.
Right on. So, all right, we went over the hour mark. But any one last thing you want to leave with somebody on the fence? I know Julian, I believe that was Julian Brown, was they said he's thinking about going, getting, he said his blue collar worker, thinking about hopping into IT. I am waffle. Theo came in here set tripping on. Relax, Theo. He can put waffle. He can put waffle in his name. but both of them was sound like they was thinking about it on the fence. So yeah, any one last final thoughts for people like them who's considering it, thinking about it? What you want to leave them with?
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Look, if you enter the code word Friday when you sign up, man, it's $140, $150 first month. Sign up. If you don't like it, quit. What you lose? You can lose nothing, because we're gonna listen. We're gonna show up, man. Like, if I come here, let me show you. I'm gonna put this in here again. Give me 1 second. Oops. Sorry. Give me 1 second.
Take your time.
So right here, this is our playlist. I show up, man. I'm consistent. I do what I say I'm gonna do. These are classes that I show up and I do exactly. I keep my word. If I tell you I'm gonna show up, we're gonna teach you. This was a 3-hour class. 3 hours and 23 minutes. but roughly about 2 hours. 2 hours and 1 minute, 2 hours and 7. I show up and we teach, man. I'm not up here playing with you. So if you pay me $147, I'm going to show up. What are you learning? What am I showing? Because in this situation, I'm going to have you share your screen. You're going to tell me what you see. I'm going to ask you questions. And there's no way that you're going to not know what you're talking about. Because guess what? By the time you interview with me, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to drill you. And if you don't know what you're talking about, I'm going to tell you you're not ready. I'm not going to help you with your resume. If you want to go out there and look, you can, but you're not ready. And I've had a few students be hard-headed and go out there and look anyway, but, but for the most part, most of my students, they follow directions. And when they follow directions, there's no way you're going to lose, man. We're going to make sure of that. All right? As long as you show up. If you quit, then I can't help you. But for the most part, if you're consistent, you're going to show up and you're going to do what you show up, I'm going to show up. I give you my word. And we're going to make sure you get what you came here for. That's what we do. We focus on trying to help people learn. That's the main thing, man. So That's it. I can be reached at 678-627-2796. And like I say, book a free consultation. It's right there on the website. You can book it for free. And when you sign up, just enter the code Friday, the word Friday, right? And that'll get you half off the first month. And like I said, just come in and kick the tires, man. Class starts on the 28th.
Right on. And Julian Brown says, I promise I'm going to book a consultation. Hold on.
All right. Shout out to Theo.
My mouse quit working. My mouse almost died on me right when I tried to make a little short clap, but that thing went on forever. My mouse died on me.
Whoa, that's a nice little applause. But I was going to say, shout out to Theo. Me and him were supposed to be working together on that data engineering class, but I'm actually glad that we didn't because I had to get a new instructor. So we'll be redoing, but we could talk about that offline. But other than that, hey, man, God bless everybody, man. Reach out to me, and that's it.
All right. And thanks everybody for listening. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we out of here. Peace. We gone. Hopefully my mouse let me leave. Hold on. There we go.